The Vorthik Empire had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. Their crimson warships patrolled trade routes between 700 systems, collecting tribute from lesser species, while their aristocrats lived in luxury on Crystal Palace worlds. The Empire's military doctrine was simple: overwhelming force applied without mercy. It had never failed them. Admiral Corax stood on the bridge of his flagship, studying the tactical display with growing unease. The human fleet had appeared at the edge of the Arcturus system. 3 days ago, 47 vessels arranged in a perfect formation that defied conventional military strategy. They had not responded to hails, demands, or threats. They simply waited. Any change in their position? Corax asked his tactical officer. None, sir. They maintained the same formation at exactly 2 million kilometers from our defense perimeter. Corax's 4 eyes narrowed. The humans were a recent addition to galactic civilization, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 50 years ago. They controlled merely 12 systems on the galaxy's outer rim, insignificant compared to the Vorthik Empire's vast holdings. Yet here they were, brazenly positioning a fleet in Imperial territory. The human ships themselves were puzzling. They were larger than typical human vessels, constructed with materials that reflected sensor scans in unusual ways. Their energy signatures were minimal, as if they were running on auxiliary power. Most disturbing of all, intelligence reports indicated these ships did not match any known human design. Open a channel to their lead vessel, Corax commanded. Communication screen flickered to life, revealing a human male with graying hair and calm eyes. He wore no uniform insignia that Corax recognized. I am Admiral Corax of the Vorthik Empire. You are in violation of Imperial space. State your intentions or face the consequences. The human smiled slightly. Admiral, my name is Commander Blake. We're here to witness an event. What event? The end of your empire. Corax's mandibles clicked in anger. You dare threaten the Empire with 47 ships? We have over 10,000 warships in this sector alone. We're not here to fight you, Admiral. We're here to watch. Before Corax could respond, his sensor officer called out urgently. Sir, we're receiving priority transmissions from across the Empire. Multiple systems are reporting unusual activity. The first reports were scattered and contradictory. Mining colonies on the frontier going dark. Trade convoys failing to reach their destinations. Garrison fleets losing contact with Imperial command. Within hours, the reports became a flood. Corax watched in horror as the galactic map on his command display changed. System after system flickered from green to red. Not destroyed, simply gone, as if they had never existed. How is this possible? He whispered. Commander Blake's voice came through the still open channel. Your empire was built on subjugation and fear. For 3 millennia, you crushed anyone who dared resist. But you made one critical error. What error? You assumed you were the apex predators in this galaxy. The sensor displays erupted with new contacts. Ships were emerging from what appeared to be empty space vessels, unlike anything in known galactic databases. They moved with impossible grace, their hulls seeming to shift and flow like liquid metal. Energy readings suggested power sources beyond current understanding. Who are they? Corax demanded. The architects, Blake replied. They've been dormant for millions of years, waiting and watching. Your empire finally grew large enough and aggressive enough to trigger their attention. The architect ships moved through Imperial space like a plague. They didn't attack in any conventional sense. They simply arrived, and whatever they encountered ceased to exist. Planets, fleets, entire star systems vanished without trace or explanation. Corax realized, with growing terror, that his mighty fleet was powerless. The Vorthik Empire's greatest weapons couldn't even target the architect vessels properly. Energy beams passed through them harmlessly. Missiles detonated without effect. "Why don't they attack you?" Korax asked, his voice hoarse with fear. "Because we're not the problem," Blake said. "Humanity learned early in our galactic journey to be observers first, conquerors never. We made allies instead of slaves. When the architects began to stir, they recognized us as a species worth preserving. The Arcturus system's imperial garrison was among the last to fall." Korax watched helplessly as the architect ships approached. His fleet. His vessels fired everything they had, achieving nothing. One by one, his warships simply faded away, as if they had been erased from reality itself. "This isn't possible," Korax whispered as his own flagship began to shudder. "The Empire has endured for 3,000 years. We are inevitable." "Nothing is inevitable," Blake replied. "Your empire fell the moment it chose domination over cooperation. The architects merely corrected an error." As the bridge around him began to dissolve, Korax caught one final glimpse of the human fleet. They remained in perfect formation, untouched by the cosmic forces reshaping the galaxy. Observers to the end of an age, the Vorthic Empire collapsed in 7 days. 3,000 years of conquest and tyranny erased as if it had never been. When the galaxy stabilized, humanity found itself among the few surviving spacefaring civilizations, not because they were the strongest, but because they had chosen a different path. The human fleet departed Arcturus as quietly as it had arrived. Their mission was complete. They had witnessed the fall of an empire that thought itself eternal, and in doing so, learned that in the vast cosmos, wisdom often mattered more than strength. In the records that survived the purge, there was no mention of how humanity had known the architects would awaken. Some secrets, it seemed, were worth keeping.